Donald Trump said that he is unaware that America imports uranium and fertilizers from Russia. Now, this was a point that India highlighted while exposing Western duplicity on Russian trade in response to Trump's remarks that he is going to impose heavy tariffs on India.
Now, India's Ministry of External Affairs in a 6-point statement had responded to the recent criticism of its purchase of Russian oil and tough talks from the EU and the United States. In its statement, India said that US continues to import from Russia uranium hexafluoride for its nuclear industry, palladium for its EV industry, fertilizers as well as chemicals. Between January and May this year, in fact, US imports from Russia jumped 23% year-on-year to $2.1 billion, driven by a sharp increase in palladium, up 37%, uranium up 28%, and fertilizers 21%.
But when Trump was asked about these imports from Russia that America continues to have, Trump said he doesn't know. I don't know anything about it. I have to check, quote unquote. That's what the American president has said in response to what India highlighted. Listen to this.
India says that the US imports Russian uranium, chemicals, fertilizers, while criticizing their energy imports. Your response to that, sir?
I don't know anything about it. I'd have to check, but we'll get back to you on that. Yeah, please.
India says that the US imports Russian uranium, chemicals, fertilizers, while their energy imports. Your response to that, sir?
I don't know anything about it. I'd have to check, but we'll get back to you on that. Yeah, please.
And that was the American president saying he doesn't know anything about the imports that US is having from Russia, which includes fluoride.
Of course, the Russian...
That's uranium hexafluoride for its nuclear industry, palladium for its EV industry, fertilizers and chemicals. Just to highlight for our viewers, this was a point that India raised in its response to what Trump said, that he's going to levy heavy taxes on and tariffs on India for importing oil from Russia and continuing to do so. India highlights that America continues to import from Russia as well. So then why is India being targeted? And these are unjustified statements and unreasonable. All right, to discuss this further, just to get a better understanding of what really happened here, we'll connect with our Assistant Director for Foreign Affairs, Siddhant Sibal. Siddhant, that was a quick response from the US President, one line, and that was the end of that answer. Give us more.
Well, essentially, the U.S. President dubbed the question, a direct question on how the United States continues to rely on Russia for resources at a time when he has been doubling down on India, lashing at India, saying that India is fueling the war in Ukraine. India is importing the energy from Russia. Of course, India has also hit back at the Trump administration with a very long statement, which we saw on Monday evening. But essentially, India's focus has been to highlight what the West has been doing, because in that statement, it was also the European Union that India fact-checked in many ways by giving details about how European Union is dependent on Russia for resources. So clearly, New Delhi showing the mirror to both Brussels and Washington that when they point finger, they should know that they are also equally dependent. Now, Donald Trump's comments, essentially, which is basically ducking down and he passing off the question, basically shows perhaps two things. First, Donald Trump being Donald Trump has no idea about a lot of facts. The president has been fact-checked several times, or it could be deliberate strategy, though I really doubt that he is not keen to speak about it, and instead he is keen to lash on India. In fact, yesterday in the social media post, he clearly said that in 24 hours he's going to raise the tariff substantially on India. So it's a matter of few hours that there could be an announcement.
Right, absolutely, Siddhant. Of course, we are seeing the statements that are coming out from both sides. We've seen the guarded and measured statement, a fact-based statement that came from India, which of course highlights the duplicity when it comes to the United States and EU doing trade with Russia. Now, not just trade, we are also seeing that there are in fact jumps in the numbers also that we're seeing in imports from Russia to the United States, 23% year-on-year, $2.1 billion. Now, these are big numbers, and of course, from Trump's side, he seems to be unaware of any such
At least
dealings
that's what
with.
he's claiming to be.
At least that's what he's claiming right now. That being said, do you think effective diplomacy can yield favorable results for India in the days to come?
Well, with Donald Trump, I think diplomacy can be a little difficult word because essentially we know that India is always keen to use the diplomatic conversations, but Donald Trump has made it clear that he's not interested in that. Almost over 35 times he has claimed his involvement in the India-Pakistan understanding, the ceasefire understanding of May. India, of course, has several times, including the Indian Prime Minister in the Parliament, also really fact-checking what Donald Trump has been saying. So in this case, it looks like the motives are very different for the continuous badgering of India by Donald Trump. So it could be something very different as well. He, of course, is also in the Nobel Peace Prize race as well. So when it comes to diplomacy, right now, I do not feel very optimistic that any diplomacy with Donald Trump will work, but only time will tell.
All right, Siddhant, thanks so much for getting us the latest. And it just goes to show how tactfully India responded to Trump's attempted badgering of India through social media for importing oil from Russia. One question back to Trump, and he had to duck that one, going past it within a one-line answer. That was Siddhant Sibal getting us the latest. We will be tracking what's coming next between the India and US very closely.